Hi, Voyageurs. My name's Rob, and I'm from Regina, and it was my privilege to receive and assemble these video submissions that you're about to watch. We reached out to Voyageurs across Canada and asked them to send us their favorite Voyageur memory. And we got a lot of great memories, but we also got something that seemed like it was a lot bigger. We got an expression of the fun, friendship, and family that can be created around a common love, a common passion for supporting Canada's national soccer teams, and how that passion and connection can survive and even thrive despite the vast distances that divide us in Canada, geographical distances, and also despite this pandemic that continues to keep us physically apart. So I hope you enjoy what follows, these heartfelt expressions and experiences around the game in this country with our fellow Voyageurs.
Hi, my name is Matthew. I'm from Regina, Saskatchewan, and I've been going to Canada games since the late 90s. So it's quite a number of years, but when thinking about my favorite memory of following Canada, there's been so many. Going abroad to the UK, the US, Cuba, all those matches were amazing. The first Women's World Cup match was incredible, a great experience with the full Commonwealth Stadium. But I think really my favorite memories are just going each time, meeting new people and seeing old friends. It's a really great community, and the first time I went to a match, didn't really know people being from out of town, and I was welcomed and it was fantastic. And now over the years, I've made a lot of lasting friendships. And so anytime I go anywhere across the country for a Canada match, I know that there'll be a lot of familiar, friendly faces. And most times I just end up meeting someone I haven't met before and kind of forming a new friendship. So that's really the best thing for me. And my favorite memory of following Canada is just the friendships and the community that exists around the club and the teams. It's fantastic, and I love being part of it.
Hi everyone, my name's Sean Mann, and from Edmonton, Alberta. And my favorite Voyageurs memory would be any trip to watch our national teams play, but in particular, it would have been March 2016 to watch the men try and qualify for Russia 2018 in Mexico City. Azteca Stadium is one of the most historic and revered stadiums in world football. I mean, a list of crazy moments and memories in that place is pages and pages long. I mean, Diego Maradona's hand of God, the other goal he scored, multiple World Cup finals. It's just an amazing place. It's also one of the most intimidating places to watch a football match. And walking into that place with 40 or 50 of my countrymen and women is a moment and experience I'll never forget for the rest of my life. I still remember belting out "O Canada" in front of 80,000 passionate Mexican fans. It still gives me goosebumps to this day. I think our men's team's on the brink of something special here, and I can't wait for more away days in the near future and get back to normal here.
Hey Voyagers! I was asked to share some memories with you guys, which was really hard because there's so many great memories that popped into my head, you know, like the Centennial game or the bronze medal rematch, I mean, Christine's 185. But for me, I think the one that really pops into my head is the El Salvador game in Vancouver during the 2018 qualifying cycle. That was my kind of first experience as a home fan away from home. I'm based in Ontario, so it was really cool to kind of be on the other side of being the home fan. It was really neat, and everyone's so gracious and welcoming. So we're used to doing that at BMO Field, welcoming the Voyageurs from across the country. So it was a cool experience for sure. The other one that really stands out in my head is the Jamaica friendly a year later at BMO Field. Just on a personal level, it was a fun game. Oso scored. I'm a 113 girl, so got a lot of love for my boy, but I also got both my parents to the game, and as the kind of first proper football fan of my family, it was cool to share that experience with them, and they kind of, I think, fully started to understand and were like, oh, I get it. Because you know, it's really hard not to get emotional when you're singing your national anthem, watching your own country compete. So it's pretty special. So those are my memories of the national teams. I hope everyone is safe and well, and sending my love to all of you. Bye, guys.
Hi everyone, my name's James. I'm from Hamilton, and I think one of the most beautiful things about soccer in this country is how many communities exist within the broader Canadian soccer community, and we don't always get to meet each other and hang out because of how great the distance is between home games. And I think what's really special is when you're able to meet up for away games. And one of my favorite memories is traveling with about 40 or 50 other Voyageurs down to Mexico City for a World Cup qualifier. And it wasn't necessarily the game that was the most memorable for me, but what happened afterwards. The entire group was told to wait half an hour after the final whistle before we were let out of the stadium so all the Mexican fans could clear out first. But the riot squad that were guarding us did not get that memo. So we actually had an entire ramp cleared out for us so that we could exit before them. And while we're singing, walking down the ramps, we're getting beer thrown at us among other verbal abuse. And we got to the bottom and our bus wasn't there because our bus had been told to wait until everyone had gone. So we had no way to get out, and the police said, okay, well, we need to get you out before all the Mexican fans come down. So they threw us on their Mexican riot buses, and we got an entire motorcade from the Azteca all the way back to our hotel. And it was this incredible end of the night where we handed our Voyageurs scarves over to the police and we drank beer in the Mexican night. And it was this beautiful representation of getting involved with the Voyageurs and how much fun you can have with people you've never met before.
Salut, je m'appelle Jonathan et je vis à Montréal. Mon meilleur souvenir comme voyageur, c'était en 2011. Lors d'un match préparatoire pour la Coupe d'Or, le Canada jouait contre l'Équateur. Même si c'était un match nul, pour moi, c'était plutôt comme une victoire parce que le Canada a marqué à la 93e minute. C'était un but de Tosin Ricketts. C'était aussi génial d'avoir été témoin du seul but international de Terry Dunfield. Et en tout, c'était vraiment, le match était génial. Puis je me souviens que l'atmosphère était électrique. J'ai vraiment hâte de pouvoir retrouver les voyageurs dans l'avenir. Et puis... Allez les roues!
So I think that my favorite memory of the Voyageurs is pre-game, post-game, Canada versus French Guiana in March 2019. Just seeing all the various different supporters groups from around the country get together, Foot Soldiers, River Valley Vanguard, Lakeside Boys, Southsiders, Kerma Collective, the Wheat Pool, Red River Rising, and so on and so forth. Just getting together, having a great time, getting to know each other, and watching our boys put a beating on French Guiana in the stands.
Hi everyone, Leanne here to share my favorite Voyageurs memories. Picking just one was not an easy task for me, as it will likely be for all of you too, but here goes. So my all-time favorite memory to date would be celebrating our monumental win against America at BMO Field. That game, the experience, like the atmosphere was like nothing else I have ever experienced. We went into that game excited, nervous, we were the underdogs, and we managed to pull off this massive win. When Lucas Cavallini got that second goal, you know, just being able to turn around and seeing all of that, you know, raw emotion from all of my other fellow Voyageurs was crazy, just crazy. You know, there was excitement, joy, just so many happy tears, even a little disbelief that we had just pulled this off after such a long time. It was amazing.
To me, the Voyageurs are more than just game day. And I think that's the key point that you should take away, is that the Voyageurs are about a community of like-minded individuals that have sought out information that's not always easy to find. So to me, the biggest and most memorable part of being a Voyageur has always been the online community and the online discussions, particularly on game days. And the one game that I always remember is the game where Canada was playing Cyprus. Now there was no TV at this Cyprus game. There was no way to watch the game. So we all gathered on the line and we were looking for ways to try and find it. We were trying to get information on the scores. And what happened in this game is that there was a young guy from over there, from Cyprus. He was a Cyprian fan that came onto the board, I think, to troll us and sort of took pity on us and was listening to the game on a radio broadcast in Cyprus and giving us updates live on the text. So we were all just madly refreshing this web browser to get information on this Canada friendly against Cyprus. And that just represented the lengths that us as Voyageurs would go to get information about our team. So to me, that is my favorite Voyageurs memory.
My name is Justin Kellerman, and I live in Regina, Saskatchewan. Some of my greatest memories of being part of the Voyageurs is going to the Women's World Cup in 2015 in Edmonton. I just remember a point where the game was suspended because of rain, and all the fans ran inside to get cover. A lot of Voyageurs just stayed outside, chanted, sang, jumped around, and had a lot of fun. Second one would be going to the Gold Cup in 2013 in Seattle. There's a whole bunch of people there. It was a lot of fun. We played Mexico, and I remember taking loads of pictures with Mexican fans after the game. And I remember a point before the game where they were chanting at us, and we chanted back, and they chanted the same one back, and then we chanted back that they only had one song. It was kind of funny that Mexico only really had one song they knew. My biggest one on field, though, would be when Canada beat US in 2019. I just remember that game not expecting a whole lot, but a little bit. But just the way they played and we beat them was incredible. I don't think I've hugged 15 people within 10 seconds ever in my life, and we got to do it 3 times that night, each time when we scored and then when we won. It was an incredible atmosphere after the game, and everybody's just in such a great mood.
Hi, it's Steven Sandor here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, talking a little bit about the Voyageurs and their special anniversary and what it means. And I'm wearing some regalia. This is actually not my favorite piece, but it's the one that still fits me. I think we all know what that's like. Over the years and over the decades that I've covered Canadian soccer, and I was around when the Voyageurs was formed in Edmonton all those years ago. But as a member of the media, I don't get always the chance to sit with the supporters and enjoy that great atmosphere or be part of it because I'm sitting in a press box in a media area waiting for players in a mixed zone. But I have had the chance to interact with the Voyageurs a lot before and after matches in different venues across the country, whether it be in Edmonton, in Vancouver, in Toronto, different parts of the country. And what amazes me is that Canada is a real big country. It's a geographically impossible country when you think about it. And yet we've all got to know each other in this community. Supporters in Vancouver, friends from Saskatchewan, from Ontario, Manitoba, different parts of the country, and all getting together. And we all kind of know each other. And it's a time not just to cheer on Canada, but to catch up. And I think it's really wonderful how this group has made an impossibly big country a rather small place.
Hey everybody, I'm Tim. I've been in Toronto now since 1992, and when I was in university in 1985 in St. John's, I actually was at the game. Yes, the game. It was the first soccer game I ever saw in a stadium. It was Canada versus Honduras in St. John's, Newfoundland, my first semester of university. Canada beat Honduras 2-1 on a very cold September day at King George V Stadium. And lo and behold, we qualified for the World Cup in 1986. Little did I know that we'd still be struggling to get back there, but hope springs eternal for 2022 and of course for 2026. I fell in love with the sport that day. I had never seen a professional soccer game before, not even on TV, I don't think. I had never been inside a soccer stadium before, and I was completely hooked, and it was the national team that hooked me. I moved here, MLS started, I became a fan, the CPL started, I became a fan, and I love my clubs, my professional clubs, but I love my country and my country's club more because it was my first love. It was my first footy love. I can't wait to be back in the stands with thousands of like-minded Voyageurs watching and embracing one another and embracing the joy that can only truly come, in my opinion, from avidly supporting the True North strong and free. So let's go 2022. Come on, you Voyageurs, and we'll see you in the stands. Cheers.
I'm Jeff Salisbury. I've been a Voyageur since around 2006, 2007. One of my absolute favorite memories of being a Voyageur is when a whole pile of us went on a trip to Cuba to watch the men's national team play the Cuban national team in World Cup qualifying. Besides staying at a resort in Veradero for 6 days and playing 3-down football in the ocean against a bunch of Montreal Alouettes prospects, and also playing some midnight lightless soccer in what I think was a tennis court or maybe even a basketball court, was the experience in the Cuban National Stadium in Havana. There was about somewhere between 50 to 100 of us and about 15,000 Cuban fans, all in one main stand in the shade. It was about 35 degrees in the shade and a solid 50 degrees at pitch level. Anyway, we were chanting back and forth with this massive contingent of Cuban fans, having great beers, drinking some bucaneros in the stands, and it was just an absolute blast. That stadium felt like you were in the middle of the jungle, and it was absolutely wild. So it was difficult to figure out which memory would be the best, but that probably is the absolute top, and I might one day have to get a tattoo of that.
My favorite Voyageurs memory has to be the Mexico City trip for 2018 World Cup qualifying. We did the usual touristy things, tour of Azteca, tequila and mezcal tasting, we went to see the luchadors, visited the pyramids, and of course, lots of margaritas were consumed. But the icing on the cake was always going to be match day, and it did not disappoint. We marched in singing, surrounded by riot police and military vehicles. Once in the stadium, we found ourselves in the away section, high in the rafters, behind barbed wire, completely surrounded by riot police. The Canadian ambassador and his staff also joined us for the game, which was pretty cool. So we were told at the beginning that we should wait in our section for 30 minutes after the game for our safety, and once the stadium had cleared, we could exit. At the end of the game, stadium security was confused, however, and they ushered us out immediately with the embassy staff, who had always planned to leave right away. We found ourselves in the parking lot, surrounded by Mexican fans who were angry at us because they hadn't beaten Canada by more, and no bus to get us out. So the ambassador arranged for the police to drive us back to our hotel in the riot buses. It was an absolutely amazing experience. The buses raced at warp speed through the streets of Mexico City while we cheered and sang. It was truly one of the best nights of my life.
Hey guys, Grayson Knutson here. Just remembering back to my very first Canada game as an official member of the Voyageurs. It was a decade ago now, 10 years. Canada played St. Lucia at BMO Field in Toronto. I was living in Medicine Hat at the time, and I hadn't met any fellow Vs in person, just some online interactions through the forum and on Twitter. But you know what? I decided I would go to this match because I really wanted to check out a Canada game with like-minded people. And even though I didn't know anyone, I quickly became friends with a lot of people and have maintained some friendships throughout those 10 years and continue to grow those friendships as well. And I think that's maybe my favorite part about being a Voyageur is just meeting people from all over the country. I've been to games in Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto, here in Edmonton, where I live now, and in Vancouver as well. And you get to just meet some of the coolest people who love the game as much as you do, some even more. That's for sure. There's some hardcore Vs out there, and I love it so much. And I think that's maybe my favorite part about being a Voyageur, being a fan of Canadian soccer is the pregame meetups, post-game parties, whether we win or lose. It's always a good time. And then, of course, nothing beats being in the stands, celebrating with your fellow Voyageurs after a Canadian goal or a victory as well. And I know we're all eager to get back to being in the stands once this pandemic passes, and hopefully it's soon. We can get back to cheering on our Canadian men, women, and our youth teams as well, our para teams, our futsal teams, our beach soccer teams, whatever it is. I know the Vs will be there in strong voice, and I can't wait to be a part of it.
Hi, everyone. My name is Zach Lawton, and I am a Richmond Hill-based Voyageur. I've been involved in the Voyageurs since 2009, I believe. My first game was at BMO Field against Peru. And some of my favorite memories, I've done a lot of away games, games at BMO, and there's a lot of individual memories, which I'll share at the end. But what I really remember me sticks out is just the camaraderie of friends you make along the way. In such a vast country we have, it's hard to get to know people from other provinces so intimately, and becoming a Canadian soccer fan and a member of the Voyageurs really helped me capture and create those relationships, which I really didn't see. I was just a soccer fan first and foremost, but it really became friends. And teams change and players change, but really when I would go to these events, it quickly became all about seeing those friends and those relationships I really care a lot about today. But I have to pick one memory that really stands out in my mind. It would definitely be, I think it was the 2013 Gold Cup. I did the big Cuba trip. A lot of people might talk about, and a Detroit away game. But for me, it was going to Seattle and then to Denver. And it was just 6, maybe 8 of us Voyageurs against the whole stadium. And it was something that really brought me together with some great friends. And it's something, it was just such a feeling of you against them. And it's something I really cherish. And it was really
Bonjour à tous, je suis Alex et je suis à Ottawa, le cœur du Canal Rideau. Bonjour. I'd like to say that my best memories as a Voyageur have surrounded actually meeting some really nice people that I wouldn't otherwise have a chance to meet from all over the country, and some great travels to home games and away games. So a lot of good times, like the great victory in 2019 against the States at BMO Field in Toronto, and some unfortunately painful memories, mostly involving Honduras. Anyway, I just wanted to wish you all the best and hope you stay safe. Thanks.
It's a little bit easier nowadays to support the Canadian national teams than it used to be. Once upon a time, we had to look for dodgy streams, hope for satellite to work from some strange illegal company, or at least not so legal possibly. Occasionally looking just for a dodgy radio stream somewhere out of the Caribbean with no video, but some random pictures that were thrown up here or there of the team before the game, in the practice the day before. And sometimes that would just motivate you to, I don't know, put a Canada jersey on a puppet, get out some Godzilla feet, and create your own damn highlights for the game to share with your country people. I mean, that's what this is all about. That's what the Voyageurs are about. Is, the best part about it is getting together with people that you don't know, but they've become your friends. They're all there for the same reason. They want to see Canada do well, whether it's men's soccer getting to the World Cup, women at the Olympics getting and winning bronze medals, the futsal team qualifying for a World Cup. It's going to come soon. Heck, even beach soccer. And I don't even know if we play beach soccer up here. I'm sure we do. Did. Anyhow, best part, friends, friendships you meet, and the games you can watch together. Even if you're apart in these pandemic times, it's still all good.
Looks long. Jackson appears to be onside. He's onto it. Jackson's chipped the keeper, and it's in. The New York City striker makes it 1-0 for Canada. Simeon Jackson his 4th goal for Canada. Terry Dunn.
Greetings. My name is Zachary Adam Eisenheimer, and I'm coming at you from Abbotsford in beautiful British Columbia. I've had the privilege of being a part of the Voyageurs since the mid-2000s. And when I look back on that time, there are a lot of memories, a lot of things stand out. One of the things that kind of ties all of the memories together is relationships. The biggest thing for me when it comes to the Voyageurs is the friendships I've made over the years, both with local people, but also people across our country, and to a lesser degree around the world. And to people at the CSA, coaches and players and people involved in the game. It's been a real blessing to build all these friendships over the years. If I were to think about one match that stands out, for me, I think it would be the game at BC Place against Mexico in World Cup qualifying. And it was memorable for a number of reasons. It was a huge match. The stadium was full, which I've only experienced one other time for the Women's World Cup final. And so the stadium was full. Our section was nice and full and large. And we had a display that we did for that match. We did a Canada flag display. And I remember making it at the place I used to work. A guy named Dave Marchand came, and we did got the fabric out, did all the math, Jamie and I sourced all the fabric together, bought all the pieces of fabric that were held up to make the Canadian flag. And then, yeah, the march to the match was massive. Adrian, John, and Karen and others got massive amounts of smoke just to add to it. And the vocal unity on that march and in the stadium that day were incredible. And along with the visual display were just awesome and made it a really memorable occasion.
Hi, my name is Levi Oki. I'm from Kitchener, Ontario. Talking about favorite Voyageurs memories, I think my favorite memory with the Voyageurs is going and marching to BMO Field through the tunnel in Toronto that goes underneath the railroad tracks from Shoeless Joe's, and we're all banging the walls and everyone's having an amazing time and we're all chatting, but on top of that we're singing French in Toronto on our way to the game. And there was just a togetherness and a noise and the passion that everybody had. And that togetherness has extended since then. Many of us are still friends and we hang outside and, you know, we meet each other on trips to other places and see each other at different games. And I've even been able to stay at Voyageurs' houses as we tour around the country and support the men's national team. And I think that's just such an amazing time and something that we constantly are showing to other people. Like, we bring busloads now up from Kitchener to watch the games because it is just such a good time to be with the Voyageurs.
So my name is Anton. I'm from Ottawa. Shout out to Jamie and the crew from the Voyageurs, everybody, and shout out to Rob for reaching out. Couple favorite memories of mine. Anytime I was gifted the privilege of capoing, be it a men's or women's match, I wish that for everybody. It's an experience like no other. And then the 2015 Women's World Cup against Holland in Montreal, then to see the same game 4 years later in 2019 in France, that was awesome. First and only time traveling outside the country to see Canada play. So shout out to the Voyageurs, shout out to, you know, my crew in Ottawa, and shout out to Voyageurs all across the country and around the world. I love you. See you soon, hopefully.
Over the last 15 years, there have been so many experiences in my life around Canadian soccer. It's tough to pick just one. There's been traveling to the Gold Cup. There's been watching the Women's World Cup right here in Canada. There's been making esoteric in-jokes about choppy feeds from strange faraway games that Canada's playing in. You got that right. But the thing that connects all of them is the people and the chance that I've had to meet and make friends with and share good times and not so good times with people from all around the country, people with different backgrounds, different beliefs, different life experiences, but one thing in common, which is a desire to support and grow the sport in this country. And I think these days, all of us are as aware as we've ever been of just how magical it is when you can be in the same time and place with people that are passionate about and dedicated to the same thing that you are. And that's what the Voyageurs has been in my life and in many people's lives, and hopefully will be in the very near future and for many years to come.
Hi, I'm Kristen from Toronto, and I'm a Voyageur. And trying to come up with what my favorite memory is so hard because there's so many. There's that time that we all wanted to go on vacation to Belize so we could go to Benny's, your number one store. There's the time we tasted the soup. When we told Honduras, well, you know what we told Honduras. Going to my first World Cup and seeing the women play, which was amazing. Traveling out west for World Cup qualifier for the men's national team in Vancouver at BC Place with those thousands and thousands of people, painting tifo for that, doing the setup for that, just getting to see people from all over, amazing. Back in 2019, crying in the stands when the men's team beat the Americans. So many happy tears that night, so many hugs from everyone. But it all comes together just getting to be part of this awesome community of soccer nerds across the country. And whether it's someone you see all the time or someone you see like every 3 or 4 years or someone you just only ever talk to online, there's this amazing community that loves this beautiful game, that loves and supports our national teams, and we all come together under this umbrella of soccer love and love for Canada.
Hi, my name is Jordan Kelman. I'm from Regina, Saskatchewan. My favorite Voyager moment, other than the Canada beating USA in Toronto, would be the trip that a group of Voyager friends and I went on in 2013 for the Gold Cup in Seattle and Denver. And some of the key points of that was just being together with them for a longer period of time after kind of hanging out with them in Cuba for a trip. Going to a Mexico fans and just kind of chatting back and forth with them, really friendly, and just that was super fun. Another one was just standing in back of goal of Denver, about 12 or maybe 14 of us just chatting back the whole entire game and just having some fun, just doing different chants and just making up chants on the spot. And after the game, the players coming over to thank us for coming to the games and whatnot. It was super fun. Nice to just meet them and just shake their hand. And the best I would say is Jonathan Azario threw his jersey and I grabbed it. He's probably one of my favorite players for club and country probably right now. And also when we went back, a couple of Mexico fans said we're great. And probably just to top it all off is just that we met Simon Thomas at the airport leaving back to Regina. Thanks a lot.
My name is Dallas, and I'm a Voyager from Edmonton, Alberta. So I have a lot of fun memories supporting this national team over the years. Mainly the 1-0 victory against Honduras at BC Place in November 2015. And there was the game against Mexico in March of 2016, although we did not win that game. But the March leading up to that event was just absolutely awesome. It was huge. But one of the fondest memories for me, though, was watching Christine Sinclair score that penalty against China at the opening game of the 2015 Women's World Cup that took place here in Edmonton. And I would just not forget celebrating with people all around me, people that I didn't even know, high-fiving them, hugging them. It was an absolute amazing experience that I'll never forget. So watching the national team games with the Voyageurs, there's nothing else like it. You meet people that travel from all over Canada to come watch the games with you. There's a lot of friendships that you make, a lot of connections, and there's nothing else like it. You know, you go to these games, you watch these moments, and you just create memories. It's a very great overall experience, positive vibes. There's really nothing else like it, and I can't wait to get back to do it again.
Devin Rockcliffe here, talking about my Voyageurs memories. First became interested in football in 1999. Less than a year later, Canada, the men won the Gold Cup against Colombia in the final. And I remember all the players huddling around Craig Forrest, who was a superhero for us in that tournament. Next memory would be probably attending my first Canada game. Oddly enough, it was away to Wales in Wrexham at the racecourse ground. We almost equalized late, but unfortunately did not. Funny memory there of being threatened by a Wales fan, first time for that. And 2008 was a good memory, traveling to Montreal for World Cup qualifiers. We played against Caribbean Minnows, St. Vincent and Grenadines, and we were bantering with Emerald George, one of the players, and made him quite sad. Football memories. Anyways, good luck to the Canadian teams in the future, and join the Voyageurs.
Okay, my most memorable Voyageurs moment was my first road trip to watch Canada play. It was in September of 2008, and this game was part of the 2010 World Cup qualifying cycle on the men's side. So we'd played our first game against Jamaica in Toronto of that round of the qualifying. That was a draw, so the next game was Honduras in Montreal, must win. So I drove up to Montreal with my brother and some friends of mine, and we spent the day on Saturday getting to know the other Voyageurs, drinking in the pub, all the stuff you do before a game. And then we got to the stadium, and I swear to God, it was like 90% full of Honduran fans. if you look up the highlights of this game on YouTube, you see like a tiny little square of red Canada supporters amid like a sea of blue in the stadium. But we sang the whole game, we chanted the whole game, we cheered the whole game. We did our best, but unfortunately Canada lost the game, and that was bitterly disappointing, if I'm being honest, because there was a lot of expectations behind that team. But I'll always remember the feeling of camaraderie I had in the stadium that day. And at the end, it got kind of crazy, and the two sets of fans were throwing like beer cups and water bottles at each other. It was a little insane, a little chaotic at the end, but even at the final whistle, I'll always sort of remember that I thought to myself, wow, despite the disappointing result on the field, this was a lot of fun. And I thought to myself, okay, I want to be a part of this going forward.
Any group like the Voyageurs relies on its volunteers. And in the early days of the group, one of our most important volunteers was a fellow by the name of Yaroslav Popowitz, or Yarek as we knew him. Yarek was an incredible photographer, graphics designer, IT professional. He actually designed our Voyageurs logo. That is on all sorts of flags and hats and t-shirts, and of course on our scarves. Sadly, Yarek passed away in November of 2018 of natural causes. It's a damn shame that he will not be here to see Canada play at home in the World Cup in 2026. Yarek was a wonderful family man. He had a great wife, a wonderful brother, a fantastic son, and he was a fantastic son himself to his wonderful parents. We miss him intensely, and I'm just here to make sure that everybody knows about the legacy of Yarek with the Voyageurs. Yarek, we love you and we miss you.